Well, good morning. And when I say good morning, they don't know that it's good morning, but I'm going to go with it. It's because it's morning for us right now on Sunday. And it's a Sunday morning. It's hair wash day. It's laundry day for me. Tracy, you looking fabulous because you're about to hit the streets. My girl be.
I'm booked and busy. My social calendar is just like, people are like, oh my God, I saw you on social media. You did that. I'm like, y'all don't even see half of the things that I'm doing.
Nope. Nope.
I was at a party yesterday. I barely took any pictures. I was just so busy having fun.
That's good though.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the thing. I always, when I'm out, I very, very rarely take a picture.
yeah, it
I'm
has to be
always in
like,
the moment.
yeah, it has to be kind of like, okay, gather, let's take a picture. People will send me pictures of myself later. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know that picture was taken.
So, well, anyway, hello and welcome back to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahida, and my fabulous co-host Tracy.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah, we an intro like a couple of minutes in. So it's been a long week. It feels like we are in week what 920,000, and we only in what month 9 of this year.
Yeah.
It has been a long week. And right before we got on, I was telling Tracy that I didn't even know what to talk about because there's so much. Two, I'm feeling burnt out a little.
Mhm.
I'm burnt out, but I'm organizing as well. I have some things that I'm working on that political front that's taking up a lot of my time, but it's still it burns you out. And so Tracy and I wanted to reflect a little bit on this whole thing with Jimmy Kimmel. So,
Yeah.
Tracy, if you want to go ahead and take that up, that'd be great.
Oh, my whole thing with Jimmy Kimmel's show being Jimmy being suspended. So it's like quote unquote suspended. So you already know that's loaded. That means they're trying to figure out, do we pay him? Because they're basically kicking him off of the show that is his own, named after him, which
Mhm,
is crazy. That's like saying you suspended David Letterman or you
mhm,
suspended Jay Leno and shut the whole show down. Like the fact that, first of all, comedians have always been kind of that connection
mhm.
between the layman and all kinds of hot topics, including politics. So the fact that swiftly, Jimmy Kimmel could be suspended and then show canceled indefinitely. Another weird term. I always hated that word indefinitely because just say forever. Because what is indefinitely really? You know what I mean?
Well, and definitely for this particular case is until he apologizes.
Right, right.
So
So
it's hinged on that.
Right. So indefinitely is such a vague term. I know what it means. I know what the
Mm,
definition
I
of
know.
it, but it's just so vague that usually when you say indefinitely, there's an inevitable at the other end and you already know what it is. But
Mhm,
long story short, here's what had me thinking about it late last night is that it's not just a Jimmy Kimmel. Because if I'm being honest, I don't even watch his show on a regular basis. I don't
I don't watch any
purposely
late night.
turn on Jimmy Kimmel. I don't purposely turn on Jimmy Fallon, but if I'm feeling it, I will. But back in the day, like my mom used to watch Carson, I used to watch Arsenio. A
Mhm,
lot of people, do watch these late night shows. And when I do watch them, they're funny. And I know the thing with Jimmy Kimmel is it's not just Jimmy Kimmel's talk show. Jimmy Kimmel also has a nightclub in Las Vegas. And
oh, I didn't know that.
part of what he does is he showcases a lot of great comics, including Lunel. So Lunel has a residency at the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club in
Okay.
Las Vegas. And my whole thing was like, how is this going to affect Lunel? That's what I was up thinking about last night because she's a great comedian. She's paid her dues. She's got this Vegas residency. How is this cancellation maybe going to affect her career long term? So this thing resonates. It doesn't just affect Jimmy Kimmel because he's honestly Jimmy Kimmel will land on his feet. Let's be real. He
Mhm.
can start his own show. He can get picked up by another network very easily.
Mhm.
But you know what I mean? When you take down a Jimmy Kimmel, you're taking down other comics and other people, working people. There are people behind the scenes, camera people, writers, all of those people that you're now putting out of work because you're butthurt and you don't know how to reconcile your feelings as a grown adult man, but you think you can lead the country. That's trash to me. I'm just like I think about those kinds of things and I just think about when I was growing up, like what we were taught about democracy and how that some of that is just does not apply anymore, apparently.
No, a lot of it is not applying, and
Yeah.
people's voices are being shut down. I mean, you think about Jimmy Kimmel, but there was a writer, a Black woman writer, for the Washington Post, and she
Mhm.
was fired this week for you and the thing that kills me, and we talked about it last week, and is people are using this man as a symbol of their Christianity, and I don't understand how. Because when people replay his own words or do videos with him debating, teenagers and use his own words, they're saying that's hate speech. So then why are we proposing a holiday for a white supremacist who speaks hate speech if somebody else says it, but it was okay for him? Please tell me how that Christianity aligns. It's insane to me. And
Yeah.
she actually posted her termination letter because they didn't even call her. It was an email. They fired her in an email, but I have never seen a letter from HR that was with such anger in it. It was basically, "We're firing you because we don't like your attack on white men." And I'm gonna actually post it or give it
Mhm.
to post it because it was the most shocking thing I've read this morning. And it's like, I mean, to me, she obviously must have some type of a suit because it was insane. But so many people, like you said, are affected by it and, their families just for speaking their truth. Whether or not you believe it or not, it's their truth. And if you're
Right.
talking about this particular person, they're using his.
And you have freedom of speech, which is only protected in some areas. So we're all getting a crash course in freedom of
Mhm,
speech is like it doesn't apply on your job. Yes.
mhm,
But what about freedom of the press?
mhm.
Come on. There's so many things that are just going out the window and people are just sitting back. And I'm like, the things that people get on a soapbox about is crazy to me when there's so much going on around us that we need to be really mobilizing and
We do.
trying to make changes for. And it's easy to just kind of like melt back into the hedges like Homer Simpson and be like, you know what? I'm just going to watch some beauty videos because I don't know what else to do. And that's fine, like admitting that you don't know what to do. But I was talking to a therapist friend of ours, friend of the show recently, and she was saying there's such a huge uptick in her clients bringing up the current events and how it's affecting them. So you have to understand when enough is enough. And she's actually been monitoring her social media intake to calm her own self down because therapists also need therapists and they also have emotions and they are also human beings that are affected by this. So the thing is that you can't turn a complete blind eye on this stuff. It's okay to fall back and say, I have to take a break, but you also have to be aware of what's going on, pay attention, and make sure that, all the things that America is supposed to stand for, all the things that are supposed to make our country so, golden and the number one country in the world, all that stuff that we've been told, we have to realize like it's not even slowly, we are rapidly losing rights. We're losing, we're being
We're in the
basically
middle of it. We are in
silenced.
the
We're
middle of
being silenced. We're being censored, but that's been ongoing. It started with the book banning. And in history always shows it's a ramp up. They see it, can we take an inch? Can we take another inch? Before you know it, they've taken a mile.
it. Mhm.
I'm like, everyone's watched every documentary out there about any kind of civil war that's happened anywhere else. And we look at other countries and we're like, oh, those poor people, blah, blah, blah. But it happens gradually. It's the frog in the cold pot of water that eventually boils. We are the frog
And
right now.
it always leads with these people, these other people. If you look at Germany, it was these other people. They're the reason why we lost the First World War.
Mhm.
It was all about hating the Jews. Now they have a plethora of people to hate in America, and that's what they're going for. That's what they're leading with, and people
Yeah.
immediately jump on to that bandwagon.
And what a lot of people do not realize or do not acknowledge is that World War II, Hitler was also targeting the LGBTQ plus community. That was a big target for him that doesn't get talked about a lot. But
Doesn't.
people, in addition to being Jewish, he also targeted gays, lesbians, anyone who just didn't fit his mold, Black people as
Mhm,
well, because there were Black people in Germany even then.
mhm,
So anyone who did not meet that aesthetic of who he wanted to be the Aryan race, the top race in Nazi Germany was prosecuted and often executed. And to say that, oh, that couldn't happen here in America, you crazy. It's happened here in America. It was called slavery.
mhm.
And again, if you're saying, oh, it doesn't affect me because I'm not Black, I'm not LGBTQ, I'm not Latino, I'm here legally, just because you happen to get grandfathered in to this country basically as a non-person of color or a person of color. I've even seen and it burns me. I saw a Black man post the other day because they canceled a Hispanic celebration, I think in Georgia somewhere, maybe Savannah or something like that, because, it's actually Hispanic Heritage Month this month.
Mhm.
Shout outs to Honduras. We had our independence on the 15th. So a lot of those things have been canceled because people are afraid that ICE is going to sweep them and, take people. And I saw a Black man post, well, if you're legal, what do you have to worry about under the article? And I'm like, sir, don't help. Do not help. You don't even comment on the conversation. You should not be commenting on the conversation if that's your train of thought. We have seen in the news people who are legally here in this country get picked up by ICE and deported to their country of origin, which is not their country of origin because they were actually here legally or born here and still deported. So they're
And to
not
be next.
do you think ICE is walking up to people, "Excuse me, may I please see your documentation?" No. They're tear gassing people, knocking people upside the head, dragging them to prison, basically, and then throwing them on a plane and then sorting it out on the other end. That is not the America that we are supposed to be so proud of. That's not who we're supposed to be. It is who we are, but
Mhm.
it's not the America that we're supposed to be. And to sit up there and say, if you're legal, if you have nothing to worry about, it's so much more nuanced and layered than that.
So there's 2 things. I wanna go back to what you said about Hitler and his aesthetic for what he wanted Germany to be.
Hmm.
Didn't meet that aesthetic.
Did not.
Did not meet that aesthetic, but that's what he said, and people willingly followed it. You look at Trump, he has a certain aesthetic. He has and a lot of his is wrapped up in his machismo. Well, I should
Mhm.
use the Spanish word for that because he's such a dick. But it's wrapped up in his manhood, and he meets none of it, none of it. He's never been successful. He's never been the big businessman that he said he was. He's never was the ladies' man. He never was any of those things. The only thing he meets is that he's white. That's it, and of German descent. So a lot of that probably comes from his ancestry. The other thing that I wanted to and I forgot because I'm old, I should write things down. Write them down, Shahida, when the thought comes. But, yeah, I wanted to and that's where we are right now. It's that you're being a whole half of America is being conned by a man, and it's very easy, it seems, to con people because he can espout all this stuff and not even be that stuff, and you're okay with it because you lead with your racism first. Just like in Germany, they led with the racism first. And just like here, what you said about them going after the LGBTQ community, that's exactly how it started here and with the book banning and all that stuff, but they were organized. One thing I learned about with this whole Charlie Kirk thing is this whole time he has been going to colleges and
Mhm.
it's been covered and people have been talking about it, but where was his equal on our side doing the same thing? I
Mm.
don't know, maybe there was, but I don't think we were as organized as the right has been about certain things. They had a long game plan. You think about the what was it? Was it 49 or 29 Democrats who voted to have a special holiday for Charlie Kirk
Oh,
and
I saw it.
Hakeem Jeffries. I never thought I would be have such disrespectful thoughts about Hakeem Jeffries, but when I think about it and when I have thought about it over the last couple of days, really, what has he really done? He has done great speeches. He has rode the coattails off of great people, but in the moment, when we are in fucking hell, what has he done beside a speech?
Right.
Need those
People
words,
give speeches all
nothing.
over the country.
Thank
Not
you.
to mention, what's the biggest assassination that we know in the I don't know why I'm like all lispy today. Something going
Mhm.
on with my tongue. Hold on. All right. The biggest assassinations that we know as Americans, right? MLK, JFK, and then like maybe third place RFK.
Okay, yeah.
We don't have a holiday for JFK.
No, no.
Do you think this man was better than John F. Kennedy? I'm
Well, they
not
did
saying
say he was better than MLK.
they said he's this generation's MLK. I heard that. I heard that part. I'm like, sir, that no, that's not true.
It's go ahead, finish your thought, I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm just saying, like, honestly, but again, with the holidays, goes back to my original point of like, stop just making up holidays. Stop
Yeah,
making
you
up
did
weird
say that.
holidays. Like you know what? If y'all want to do a thing for him, which you did, they did a memorial on that. I am over the way the direction things are going. And people are buzzing. Everyone's like kind of getting together in little clusters and saying, what are the next 3.5 years? Well, 3 years going to look like because 3 years from now, we'll be back in election mode. But Democrats are slowly, or not even slowly, rapidly losing ground because right now, when I get those text messages on my phone from the Democrats, delete. Don't say nothing else to me because you failed me far too many times. I'm not saying I'm turning in my Democratic registration, I'll probably still register as a Democrat. But until you get a worthy candidate for president in the next 3 years, I can't say how I'm going to vote in the next election. I really can't. Like, I can no longer just blindly vote Democrat. And a lot of people are telling me, like, I'm asking them, like, what's their political affiliation? And they're saying, oh, I'm an independent, I'm this and that. And it's a lot of Black people who are moving away from the Democratic Party, and you're losing ground with us, and you need us clearly, because if you had us last year, we wouldn't be where we are right now. But
Wow,
it's that
that's not true. That's not true because
okay?
we were there. It was white women, white men, Hispanic men. That's why we're here. Not
But that's what
because
I'm
of
no,
us.
not Black women. I'm saying the Black people as a collective, the
Mhm.
Latinos as a collective. If you had all the I hate using the word minority because we're not minor in any way, shape, or if you leaned into the cultural factions, you would have so much more. If Asian people really understood what all of this meant for them, they would not lean the wrong way. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? They would lean the right way. But there's this clamor towards whiteness
Yeah.
when people come to this country, even before they get to this country. There's
Mhm.
a clamor towards whiteness, which they think is up here, and to get away from the ethnicity which they consider to be here. But they celebrate it within their own bubble. Like, no, let's branch that out. Let's understand we don't have to break bread together. We don't
Mhm.
have to, we don't have to be friends or anything like that, but understand the common goal is to not suffer. You
Mhm.
you you suffered to come here. The goal is to send your ass back. And somebody said the other day, will they be canceling the Irish parades? I was like, highly doubt it.
No, no. And that's another thing that people don't know because they don't know history. Right now, the Project 25, they need every Italian, every Irish, every person that claims Spanish descent, all Catholics. all Catholics. Americans, evangelicals, do not like Catholics. They persecute Catholicism. And you don't think that's on the table coming in? And you think about all these priests that are out there spewing about birth control and abortion and all those, like, they do IVF, they do not like those powers that be that you are coddling up to. They protected you under the, when you were raping those boys. If they get what they want, if Project 25 gets what they want, believe me, you will be an unprotected class as well. And your whiteness is not gonna save you on that.
Mm.
But people don't know history. People don't know history.
Yeah, it's just it's sad to watch. And I know there are a lot of bots too on social media.
Yeah.
So some of the things that you're seeing are not even real. So that's another reason to kind of, step away from
Mhm.
so much social media, because even when you think you're just going on there to look at cat videos or, whatever, or you listen to music or watch a video, the algorithms are working in overtime. And Shahida was just saying, like, there's a new agreement with TikTok. America's going to have its own version
Control
of
of it.
TikTok. Yeah. So, what do you think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to be the puppet master playing, manipulating the strings on that?
100%. And that's why we will never go back to TikTok. I
Yeah.
don't like any of the social media forms at this point, but definitely not going to that one. What I will say one thing before we end this part, because both of us are
Yeah.
tired.
We got to
But
we got to switch. We got to flip a switch on this one before we before we
but
end.
I will say, and I'm gonna probably keep saying it every single week, I know you don't know what to do, and I know you don't know how you can stop this from happening, but you have to join like-minded people. You have
Mhm.
to go and find groups. I am a member of the Rhode Island Coalition of Black Women. You want some questions? Email me, text me,
Yeah.
to find out. But there are a whole lot of other groups that are organizing. You can join the ACLU, the Women's Voter Registry. There's so many groups. Look in and find where you fit in and join, because so much is at stake. The lives of our children, the lives of our grandchildren, the lives of our great grandchildren. We don't want our young people growing up in this type of world that we've seen on TV and in movies somewhere else. We want better. And another thing is, the Trump administration just introduced a bill about making birth control, and what was the other one, illegal? Birth control, I can't think of it. I can't think of it. Something else. So what they're saying is that in under no circumstances are we even going to give you the right to even manage your own body. Talk less of never giving you an abortion, but not even manage your own body to say, "Oh, I don't want any children. I want to finish school, X, Y, and Z." You don't even have the option to get the pill in some states now.
So then you know what that means, women, lock it down. Just
But
lock it down.
you could lock it down, but you also could be raped because they're going to make
Right.
that legal.
That's true. That's true. But the thing is that it is just so ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. And the thing is that, but as Americans, we've looked at other countries and been like, and we pitied those other countries. We pitied these other nations that are led by tyrants, that are led by, dictators. And we talk about Cuba and we talk about, you know,
Iran.
different regimes, and we're like, "Oh, we look at them like that can never be us. If you let things continue to go unchecked, it will be us. It
Mhm.
will be
No,
us."
it
And
is us now.
it
That's
is.
the thing. People think that we have way more to go, and we do, but we are in the middle of it. We have
Yeah. It's
already let
happening.
things happening, and we are in the middle of it. So you need to start. There's only a third of us, maybe, that's left to fight for this. We need to all be out here doing our damnness. And if you wanna cancel Disney and Hulu, which, go ahead and do that. I promote that. I, like, promote boycotts, do that. But then there also has to be, maybe we should start looking at some of these gas stations, Exxon and Mobil and Sunoco, all of them. We have to cripple the economy here in America.
So supposedly Disney lost 4 billion in the
Mhm.
so
But
far.
how much are they worth? They're worth over like
I'm sure that's
500
not
billion.
much to them, but I was just thinking, like, what if people stop going to the theme parks? What if people stop buying the merch and all of those things? You know what I mean? Stop going to the Disney store. Watch
Mhm.
some different movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's got to be, there's so many things we can do, and I know it seems like it's nothing, but like I
It's
said,
something.
I haven't shopped at Target in a year. I've not bought a single thing at Target in a year. I have
Mhm.
their credit card. I will pay it off because I'm not trying to screw my
Yeah.
credit up. But once I pay that off, I'm closing that account. I want no parts of them. And it's, the lesser of two evils because I still go to Walmart. But Walmart has always been an asshole. So I'm just like, you
And they
didn't
never
really.
promoted a DEI.
But I'm
That's
trying to scale back even on my Walmart purchases. I'm trying to scale back on my Amazon purchases. I know I got to do better with that. But there are a lot of things that we can do because we do feed into that 2%, the 2% that is really doing this to us,
mhm,
because if you have one Bill Gates, you got 20 other people who's
mhm. Whose
not
names
Bill
we
Gates.
do not know. Whose
Exactly.
names we do not know, and are
Because they don't
probably
want us
on
to
an Epstein
know.
list.
And the thing is that as much as all this stuff is going on, I still don't know the name of who's in charge of ABC that pulled the plug on this show. No one's attacking that person that I know of.
I've seen the name, I know the name, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but is it it's not Cook, is it?
I don't
No,
even
that
know.
might be
But
Apple. I have seen his
the
name.
news has all been Jimmy Kimmel, ABC canceled. No, it wasn't ABC. It was a particular person that
Mhm.
did that. Figure out who that is and get to work, internet sleuths, and do your thing.
And it is out there. The only way it's gonna like you said, is with that boycott. Then the board of directors are gonna be looking at him like, "You know what? You've made this mess," just like with Target. And even though
Airbnb is
Target
another
tried.
one.
Yep, yeah, I'm done with Airbnb.
Delete that app, hit up Verbo, or whoever else, other hotel chains or whatever. But yeah, but Airbnb, their president is or CEO is aligning with this administration.
It's just anyway, so on
So
to but again, join organizations. Find out where you fit in and get in because that's the only way. You have to follow some people that are already organized. So, another thing, much lighter, my fave is under fire this week. Y'all know I love Cardi B. And
yes,
I get a little wrinkle. She's up there with Beyonce with me. I'm mad at Beyonce, but I get a little wrinkled when people come for her. And she announced this week that she's preggers,
but with her fourth child,
her fourth child, and she has a multi-million dollars in her bank account, and she can get pregnant as many times as she want. Do you? But people are really coming for her about the timing of her pregnancy, what they deem as another toxic relationship that she's going into. She's pregnant
yeah.
by someone on the Patriots. Yeah, she's and
I didn't
he
even know he was on the Patriots.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They were inviting her this week to join a tailgate, some of the Patriot
Already
wives.
moved to Newport, girl, or Attleboro, wherever the Patriots be living. Come move out here with us.
Oh, I thought you said she did. I'm like, "Girl,
No,
that
she
I did."
should. She should. This is a great place to raise her children.
You know why she's not gonna do that? And this is another reason why I love this woman. She take her kids go to her parents' house every day.
Oh,
And her father, I don't think that they're together, but her father still lives in the same house in Brooklyn that, I don't know if she
love
was
it.
raised there, but he doesn't wanna move to wherever she is or a fancier apartment. So her kids are going to their papa's house every day after school or whatever it is, every day in Brooklyn and seeing how they live at home, but also their grandparents. And I love that.
She's very down to earth, and
Mhm.
she was saying in an interview the other day, I wasn't sure if she was talking to Gail King or somebody.
Yeah,
She was
Gail
saying,
King.
like, who am I to complain about raising my family, about being a mother, about my responsibilities when, she said, this grandmother of mine had 13 kids, this one had 10 kids. And she's like, one grandmother had a baby, and then she would get back at the farm and she'd
Mhm,
be, getting her crop together to go sell things to
mhm,
make money to thrive and survive. She's like, who am I, this millionaire, to complain when I have so much? So I love that she stays rooted, she stays grounded. Like, am I listening to all her songs? No. Like, to me, her music can be an acquired taste. There are some songs that
mhm,
I like. I like the person that she presents to us publicly. I like that about her, and I like that she makes her kids, get pick up that broom and start
mhm,
sweeping, and they have to listen, to their elders. And
mhm.
it's just, I love seeing her with her kids. She seems very engaged, very involved. And I mean, yeah, she has 3 kids by one man, and she's about to have a new
Who was
brand
her
new
husband? Who was
kid
her
with
husband?
another, right, with another man. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
I will say this, when you talked about her music, like, on the whole, I like her music, but you know that song WAP, remember that?
Great song. Great one.
Right? No, I I still cannot listen to that song without going like, "My pearls," like, I'm not even that chick, but I cannot listen to that song without like, "Whoo, that's a lot,
The
girl,
video is what makes the song.
girls."
I love the video. Her and then it's like her
Megan,
and Megan, come on.
I love Megan
That's
too.
one of the ones I actually really like a lot.
Oh, I cannot, I cannot.
We
I
did
mean,
that
I'm
song at karaoke
really?
for Julia's birthday. Shout out to Julia Broom from Ken. She when she had her karaoke birthday celebration, that was one of the songs that was on deck, and the whole room was we were in on
Yeah,
it.
I would've been sitting there. No, I don't know why, it's just like and
Oh,
I'm not a prude.
it's very
I'm not a
crass.
prude, but I'm just like, "Whoa, that was a lot for me." But I agree with you, but I think a lot of it has to do with when a woman leads like a man, because I mean, and she's not leading like a man, but, it's a man could do the same thing. Let's talk about how Offset cheated on her the entire time. The
Not only that,
entire time.
he had like 3 kids before he even got married to her. So he
Mhm.
already had a family. Her 3 with him are in addition to the children he had with this other woman. No one complains about that.
Who she actually made sure that her children had a relationship with,
Yeah,
which
she would
we
bring them
know
in,
a
which is
lot of
nice.
women don't. It's so funny because we just went to book club on Friday.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that too.
We discussed this, but what was the name of the book?
And then there was me.
And there was me, and it was about this woman who was, like, of Dominican descent, I think,
Mhm.
Spanish descent anyway, and her husband was a habitual cheater. And
Yeah.
he had a son with this other woman, and she took him back only to say that, you cannot have a relationship with this child or this mother at all. So he couldn't have a relationship with the child that was named after him.
Aside from financially.
And
So
yeah,
he was to
financially,
provide.
it was to come through her. Everything was all the emails for money or whatever was to come through her. So that was her bit of control. And we discussed how, like, all of us, I get how she felt, but
Because
to keep
this
a
woman
child from their father is diabolical.
this woman, so and I hate to call her side chick, but it is what it is.
Yeah, she
Her
was.
child was born in between the children that the woman had with her
Yep.
husband. So she had a son that was 10, then this little boy was born, and then she had a daughter with her
And the
husband's.
sons had the same name.
Yeah, yeah,
It was a mess.
yeah. It's like, why are you mad at this lady? You need to be mad at your husband. Yeah,
But look at Cardi. I mean, even though those children were
yeah,
before hers, but a lot of women don't care about the children that you had before or after or whatever. And with their children, it's just it. But she made
yeah.
a genuine effort to make sure that their siblings, they know each other. And I love that about.
I mean, I'm not the moral police here, but I do have concerns about the men that she chooses to procreate with. Because Offset was not. he was not, to me, not the prize to begin with.
Mm-mm.
He had a lot of issues anyway, serial cheater, all of those things, and just like, not, to me, not respecting her the way that he should have, because
Yeah.
they broke up so many times, and that could have been,
Over
a
cheating though.
combination. That could have been a combination. She has a strong personality. Let's not get it
Yeah.
twisted. I'm sure they would have found other things to argue about, but that's a big one. And then it's like the back and forth, the back and forth. And then when she finally said, "I'm done with you," the
Mhm.
disrespect that came from his
Yeah.
direction at the mother of your children, that
Mhm.
they're too little now to see that, but later on, they're gonna be able to pull this up and say, "This is how my dad was treating my mom,"
But isn't that
publicly.
how men do when you finally say, "Okay,
When
I'm
yeah,
done with
I'm
how
not gonna take it anymore.
badly you're treating me." Then all of a sudden they're offended. Even now she announced that and he did a post about like the divorce isn't even signed yet and you're out here doing this. Sir, the divorce would be signed, but you were out here effing up and playing games about it because you didn't want to pay what you should be paying to your family that you had. So
And he
it
keeps on doing little
yeah.
stuff to try to get to her. Meanwhile, she's unfazed, apparently. Like, she is just out here thriving and just getting more popular and more famous and just
Mhm.
gaining, more support from her fan community. So, and on the flip side, what was the last music project Offset to be on?
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't know
follow him
either.
like that. When I do hear him on certain songs, I like his contribution to it, to the song. He's
Yeah.
talented in his way, so I gotta give it to him on that. I don't go looking for anything. Like I said, it's usually a collab with somebody else. But I like his contribution, but it's men need therapy. They really, really do because there is a way that if you can't be together, one thing you don't need to do is be putting all of that out into the internet about how your woman or your ex-woman is now a whore because she's not with you. The,
Right.
sir, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's a shame. It
Mhm.
really is a shame, but I'm just like, I don't know much about Stefan Diggs. There was, some internet rumors that he's already also being unfaithful. And I'm just like, and that could be just rumors. I don't know. He could
Yeah.
be the most loyal man he is that there is, but he's also an athlete with a lot of options and a lot of opportunities. So it's just like, Cardi, girl. But I mean, it's her life, it's her choice. I'm sure she's gonna rock it. Her fourth baby, just the way she was rocking motherhood with the other one. She was making lunches for her daughter at one point every day
Mhm.
for school when she was available to make them.
Mhm.
But I just also think too that, I don't know. If she wants a large family, she wants a large family. That's her business.
Let
Beyonce
me
has
tell
three
you,
kids.
if I had her money, I probably would have like 7 kids.
I used
No
to wanna
joke.
have 10 when I was little. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have 10 children." And when I had my 3rd one, my mother's like, "That's a lot of kids." So I was like, "You are right. 3 kids is a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
I
kids."
felt like 3 was enough for me because I don't have money like that. But if I had money like Cardi, I would definitely be pumping out some kids. I would have me a football team because I love children. I love being a mother, but then also the privilege of being a mother with no financial worries, girl, I would have been having some
Might
kids.
have had another kid. I might have had a 4th kid, but it just wasn't meant to be. And I've spoken about this on the podcast before. Like, I had a cutoff point of 30. I wasn't gonna have any kids
Mhm,
after the age of 30. Like, because to me, that was ancient at the time. I
mhm,
was like, oh, after 30, that's too old. And so
mhm,
then, I got on I had an IUD, and the
mhm,
IUD was good for 10 years, and I just kind of didn't think about it. And I think I
mhm,
thought, well, maybe I'm done. But when I went to take the IUD out, I started thinking to myself, because I was about 36, I was like, oh, maybe
mhm.
I'll try for another one before, I completely shut this down. And then I wasn't able to have any more.
Yeah. I felt like 35 was my cutoff. So, and I remember I got married at 20.
Yeah.
So I started early.
Yeah.
But I coulda used those 20s, but I don't think I would have wanted any after 35. But again, the situation would have been different because I would have had nannies. I would have had a cook. I would have had somebody to clean. And the situation is that I would have had a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Kudos to her. She can have as many as she want, but you do want to be able to have children in a solid family mother father situation, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a mother father, but a two parent, because it is a load, it is a lot, and you want to give those children like the opportunity to have that love from both parents.
But
Period.
it's also that stigma about having 2 baby daddies, and I'll say it like
Mhm,
that because that's what people are thinking. But
mhm,
also my other concern, and this is just me being auntie, you
mhm,
have 3 very young children and you're now introducing a new man. Your baby just turned a year old
mhm.
and you're introducing this strange, to me, is he's a strange man to these
And they've been
kids.
together for a minute. So she
Too
introduced him probably
soon.
no, I'm saying she introduced that baby to that man when he was, like, just a couple of months, because that's how long that her and Offset
They've
have
been, yeah.
been apart, because they separated when she was pregnant, and it has been rumored that when she was pregnant, because remember there was that whole big thing, "I can't believe she's having sex with another man and she's pregnant." It was him.
Yeah,
That
that's
baby
true.
probably has known that man since day one,
Well,
and I'm
it
not
just
mad at her for that, and
I'm just
even the whole
no,
thing
yeah.
about, I get what you're saying about introducing your children, because I was always cognizant of that. People did not come to my house. I wasn't introducing anybody to anyone that I didn't think that I was gonna be in a long-term relationship with, so I get it. But on in the same note, that one thing I wish I had not done was lived so harshly by that rule,
Mm,
because I put my children ahead of my relationships. You know
mhm,
what I mean? And there is a balance to it. I didn't know the balance. My balance was that I bought this house for my children. This is their space. I'm not inviting people into their space. But then that cut me off
mhm.
away. So I get what people are saying or whatever. And I hope that there's a balance that she has found, but I'm not knocking her for that.
I get nervous about any man that's not a child's
And you
father
should.
in their life. And granted, there's some sick individuals out here who are fathers and still doing terrible things to their own children. But when you bring in someone who's not your kid's father, their incentive to be fatherly to your
Mhm.
children is not always there. So,
Yeah.
that's my concern. And I guess Stefan Diggs also has other children by other women, and I don't know how many.
He has one daughter. One
Okay, so I
daughter.
know so there's this whole blended family situation that has to happen, and I understand she'll probably want to try to facilitate that, but it's a lot to deal with, and it's a lot to put on your children that they're now having all these faction relationships. And I know what that's like to have half siblings from other moms. You know what I mean? My dad has had 8 children, and there
Mhm.
were, let's see, one, two, three, four or five moms. And I'm losing count now. Hold on. Four moms. So that's a lot. Thankfully, those women were always kind to me, and I
Mhm.
even spent the night with my siblings, or they would spend the night with me. But there could have been bad situations there.
Mhm.
Excuse me, not just with stepmoms. And then I had a stepfather who had children of his own. There's just so much going on there. And I think when you're little and there's a there's gonna be some conversations that need to be had with some therapists to help them
Mhm.
navigate. Like I know they seem really young, but I think especially her oldest child, Culture, and the boy
Mhm.
Wave, who I think is around 3 or 4, they probably need to talk to somebody because I'm
Mhm.
sure trying to reconcile all of this, and I promise you, when Cardi and Offset get together, it's very volatile. And I'm sure it's happening
Well,
in
if
front of
they
those
even do
kids.
get together, I don't think that they are meeting face to face, because they have somebody to be a mediator. You take the kids to him. I'm not doing that. So it's
Yeah.
different because of the money
But
factor and trying to
even that,
yeah.
your parents not communicating, that can
Mhm.
take a toll on your kids. It's like mommy and daddy can't even be friends. They can't be cordial.
Well, I've come from a situation that was just exactly like that, and it wasn't that I didn't try that. But, people decide to take themselves out the picture and you just can't consist and I feel like it's worse to keep building up and pretending and making a person be who they are not
Yeah.
because they choose not to be a parent. There's nothing more I can do, but I can't sit there and say that to my kids either. So,
Yeah.
keep on it, and then I did, like you said, like, for the whole thing, I worried about that when they was very young, and I said, "I gotta take these kids to therapy," and the therapist, I was, very happy because she's like, "You're doing the best that you can, and you're doing a good
Yeah.
job at it." So I
Yeah.
get it, but I think also the onus is way too much on her than it is on him.
I
Make
expect
peace.
nothing from that man. I don't expect anything from him. I do not give him that credit. And he may
Mhm,
be there. I don't from his public displays, he doesn't
mhm,
appear emotionally mature or developed
exactly.
enough to
That's what I
to
said, we need therapy.
but again, this brings me back to part of my original point is like that's who you have sex with. That's not who you procreate with, girl. Come on.
And unfortunately, I think a lot of us make that mistake,
Yeah.
or kinda swept up in the fantasy of a person who shows us the attention because you could imagine dating him in the very beginning and he one again money comes into it, he's able to shower with her with all the things because he
Yeah.
was bigger before her,
Yeah.
before she really blew up, so he was the bigger star and he was probably like really showering her, giving her that attention. And I honestly hate it when people tell women that choose better, and it's an actual fact. You do need to choose better, and especially her in this situation, you already had a fuck boy. Did you vet this person to make sure that this person is not a fuck? Because a lot of times the person that you actually need in your life is not the one that catches your eye right away.
Mhm.
And, you went with a I don't know how he smoozed her or whatever and got in there or what I don't know how, but I hope that he is better than Offset. We can only just, wait and see, but also we have just too many, especially celebrities, and I know it's hard for them because they have women and men just throwing it at them all the time,
Yeah.
but manage to say no. You need to learn how to understand that I like cheeseburgers and I like steak. Which one would you rather keep? Because I know people, the whole saying is, why take a cheeseburger when you have steak at home? I'm always going to go for the cheeseburger because I fucking love the cheeseburger over steak. So, whichever one that you decide that you want, be able to eat that for the rest of your life.
I
Be able
just
to just
yeah.
be happy with the woman that you have. And then when you are not, just be open enough to walk away.
Mhm.
Period. And that's what I mean. Therapy. Get some therapy
But the conversations that people need to have before they get into long-term relationships, before they get married,
before they have babies.
people are not having them, right, before you have a baby with them. Do you even want kids? That's a conversation I feel not enough people are even having. I'm watching so many shows, like reality shows, where people are like, one spouse wants a kid, another one doesn't want a kid. How did you get to down the
Yeah.
aisle before
Because you know
even
what?
having that? You
People
think people are
always
lying?
think that people want no, no, no. A person could come out and say, "Oh, I don't want any kids." But then a woman could be like in her head, or a man, because it could be a man too, because they flip and
It
change
is
as
the
well.
one I'm talking about is
They
a guy that wants
always
a kid.
yeah, they always think that they can get somebody to change their mind to be them. You marry a whole person who had their views, and if they told you one thing, believe it. But
Mhm.
a lot of times people and let me tell you, I thought I could change people too. You can't. You can't.
It's the conversation about children. Is how do we want to raise our children? What religion do we
Exactly.
want to raise our children in? What is your discipline style? How do you like to travel? What are your
Mm,
thoughts on me having friends of the opposite sex? There's so many there should be a checklist out there that people just
it
go
really
through the
should.
checklist before you decide we're going to move in together or we're going to actually get
Mhm.
married. So many people go to these freaking marriage I don't even want to say marriage counselors, but a lot of people people go to the church before they get married and they have this big conversation with the pastor. I would like to know what the pastor is asking these people because I feel like, or
They're
whoever
not
they
real life
go to.
situation.
I don't think so. I think they're more so trying to throw
I
some
agree.
religion, keep God in your relationship and keep your family out. That's like a big one that I hear. But are you actually encouraging these people to learn about each other before they
Mhm.
take that leap? And some people don't even make it to marriage, but they end up having a child with somebody. And I understand sometimes a baby comes and you're not expecting it. But when you have multiple kids with a problematic person, now you got to start looking at yourself.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
mom had the
Or
one
even if it's
my
not just one person. Even if it's not just one person, it could be problematic others, just like we're saying with
yeah,
Cardi. We
a
hope that he
pattern, a
won't be like
pattern.
Offset. We hope, but you just don't know
My
until,
mom
and
realized
I
my
wish
dad
her the
wa
best.
my mom realized my dad was not it.
Mhm,
It was like one and done. She was like,
mhm,
"I ain't having another one with this man." And I understand that, you know what I mean? But also, my dad had 5 kids when my mother met him. Like, "Ma'am, I'm glad to be here, but why?
mhm.
Why did you do this?" He had 5
Yeah.
kids.
I often look at women who is you see a guy have like Future. I always wondered why Sierra had children with him when he had
Sierra.
so many goddamn kids. But she was
And she's
able
thriving
to
now, yeah.
exactly. She was able to say, "Look, this is the type of man I don't want," and she prayed on it, she got Russell.
Almost get the feeling Future left her though. That's what's so messed up. I almost feel like he stepped away.
No, I thought he did too. I thought he
Yeah.
did.
But
I
why let
think he
people
did.
get to that point? And I know sometimes we just feel like we're just so in love and we're obsessed with this person and I can make it right. I just need to change this and this and that. Like you said, you cannot change another person. And that person has to want to make a change. Sometimes people will yes you to death and say things just to and some people do get bamboozled. I've
I
had
feel like a lot
friends
of people get bamboozled.
get baited and switched. I'm like, this is not the person that I thought I was getting involved with. So that happens too. But I'm just like, I wish Cardi the best with baby
Yeah,
number 4. I wish Rihanna would come out and show us our niece or nephew. I'm like, girl, you and Rocky seem to have a blueprint. Where's the baby?
yeah, yeah. And because I was worried about that relationship for a minute, but, she
I have
seems to
my
be really happy.
concerns about
That's
him
all I
too.
want. Yeah, I did. So, I mean, seems to still be in there rocking it. But anyway, that will be our show for today.
That's
There's a lot.
it. That's
Have
it.
a
Yeah.
great week, everybody. Again, get in where you fit in. Join some groups, look some up, go to some meetings, see what you can do to help stop what's happening in America if you want a better America for your children.
Fact search, fact check, don't fall for deep fakes. Don't
Yeah,
get into unnecessary political arguments with people that
yeah.
don't deserve
Mhm.
to have a conversation with you. So sometimes you have to self-censor in that way and be very mindful about the conversations that you're having right now. Just take care of yourselves.
Yeah, take care. Don't
That's
let these
right.
people rob your soul and your goodness.
Not at all. But until
Don't fill
then,
yourself up with hate. But until then, have a great week.
we're on because we have to do this one for Teresa. You know where to find us on social media on Instagram as well as Facebook. You can listen to our podcast and watch it on Spotify and YouTube or wherever podcasts are heard. But Shahida, please tell the good people where
Haven't said this in a long time.
they
Haven't said
will
it in a
not
while.
find us.
Will not find us on motherfucking TikTok. Fuck them.